Okay, we're going to Virtuamart, and first we will look at shipment methods. Now at the moment we have got just one default shipment method available in Virtuamart. If you want more advanced features than these, do speak with us. There are available plugins. Um, for the most part, I'm very sure this one would do, since you can customize it well. And so let's quickly look at what is done here. You could then change this if you wanted to, or you could create a new one, different. In fact, oftentimes you might need to have a few shipping methods, since you have different price ranges in different weight classes and different quantities and so forth. Okay, so I just set up one, called it normal post, and you could give it a description that will be shown during the checkout process. Your description of the shipment would be shown. Which groups can make use of this? If you had nothing in here, if it was like a blank, it will click in it, and then you can select only one group or just select all of them, as I did. And okay, then with countries you can decide, okay, this is only available to Namibia. You can these zip ranges would then be also determined by what we did here in countries. And then your lowest weight, if you have been working with weights by giving each product a weight, then you could use this shipment method to determine the weight, to count the weights together of the products and see whether this specific shipping method can be applied. If it can't, it will be looking, let's say that was 10 kilograms for the lowest and 30 for the highest. Then you'll need to set up another weight block of 31 to let's say 45 or whatever the next weight bracket would be of kilograms. So then you'd have different shipping methods by weight. Now in this example we didn't use weight, we also didn't use zip ranges. Now if you want to know more about these options, just hold your mouse over those words and it will give you a pop-up with some information. Then you have a maximum number of products. Now that means you can say, okay, the person needs to at least take a minimum amount of 4 and a maximum amount of 17 products before this specific shipping method can be available to them. Otherwise you'd leave this blank if that is nothing, if that is not of all important. Then you can come to the order amount. That would be the price, the amount that the people, the products altogether should be more than minimum amount of $100 before this can be applicable, and a maximum of this. Then that would mean that the shipping cost for anything between those two numbers will be 132 Namibian dollars, because your base currency is then Namibian dollars. This would also then be Namibian dollars, and your package fee would be as well in packaging this product would be that. You could leave this to blank if you're gonna sort of include that in your shipping fee completely. And then if there is gonna need to be tax applied to shipping as well, the shipping itself, this amount, you could do that. I would say, well, let's include that. Let's say if the courier is asking you $120, then let's add the tax that we must pay the courier already and just add this in here as the big sum, just once off. But yeah, like you can see, there is many ways that you could do this. Then the minimum amount for free shipment. So if this person makes an order, if his order exceeds 1,000, then none of this would apply. Or well, you could say anything above 400. Since 300 is the maximum, you could make it 301. Anything above $301 is free. So this would be then the last block, and then you'd have smaller blocks. Blocks meaning methods that you'd set up, so there won't just be one, there will be multiple. And so if we were to get out of this, you would just click on new to create a new one, and then make sure that they just don't overlap. And then this is how the shopping cart would implement these these shipping methods. Then if we could continue to payment methods, there are quite a number of different pay gates available. The problem though is they aren't all available in Namibia. We have now recently heard that there is actually that Nedbank has an option to do integration with a pay gate that can link in here with our shop end. And so we will still get the pay gate. It's not in this example, it's not available. But you would simply we will simply install it for you, and then if you click new here, that specific pay gate will be part of the configuration options we will get to in a moment. But okay, so that pay gate will show in this list. Payment method, it will show. So for example, let's say we used PayPal, there's or Horizon or Money Bookers or System Pay or Payzin or Standard or whatever. You would select that pay gate that you have told us, okay, I'm going to use this pay gate, then we'll get that pay gate, we will install it for you, and you would simply come here and select that pay gate. Now if you would just have selected, let's say, PayPal, and you've said this is available to all groups, and you've called this PayPal, and you've said, okay, this is published, and the description is pay. Oh well, you could leave this blank. Now you would see there's no configurations yet, so you just click save, so that the program would now know, okay, he selected that paygate feature. Then he would load in configuration this specific paygate's configuration options, you see. And so then you'd see, okay, there's place for a logo, there's place for your email address that's needed, there's place for the sandbox, and so then there is let's buyer override their PayPal address, and yes or no. That means the address that he uses on your website, for example, if it is info@websitemail.com, and if he gets to PayPal, he cannot use another email address to pay with. He needs to use info@websitemail.com. And ask me, I've had a number of those things happening with me. Okay, prompt buyers for shipment address. I think this would be only important if it comes to the fact if you are actually really needing a shipping address. If it's a downloadable that you're using, you would most probably not need that. The default currency then, again here would be US dollars. This is usually the list of if you again, here it's important that you know what your pay gate is actually expecting from you. Now I know PayPal will not work with Namibian dollars, and it will not work with Rand. It will only work with US dollars. And so you need to then, unfortunately, if you use PayPal, make use of US dollars. And then you can also decide whether this pay gate is available to other countries or only to Namibia. If you were to leave it blank, it says here, please select the country from which the payment method must be applied. If no country is selected, this payment method will be applied to all countries. So that means default is none, and then it applies to all. You can read these features here. They are really explanatory. I'm sure you'll find your way around easily. There is a warning here that says that the Virtuamart 2, which is the one you are using, number 2, the vendor and buyer will only receive an email when the transaction is complete. So that means that these switches here, order status for failure transaction is when the person can. Okay, sorry, that's got nothing to do with the matter. But you need to. Sorry, let me just finish this one. That means you will not be receiving any email of anything happening at PayPal's side unless there has been a transaction completed. Okay, now this return to shop, order status for pending transaction, and I think simple would be pending, right? Order status for a successful transaction, see we just said earlier that would be confirmed. Order status for a failed transaction would be cancelled. And leave this debug to no, since you are not a developer. Okay, that is a quick overview of setting up a PayPal payment method, and you click save and close when you've made your changes. Now you would see that we've also set up a standard payment method and called it bank transfer. If you open that, if it's not set up, you could set it up. If it is set up, you could come and make changes to your details that will be sent to, as it says here, this payment info will actually be added to the invoice, and so this information would be given to the client so he could do this bank transfer. You could add a logo to this, as well as the countries to which it's available, as well as the accepted currencies. You could just type in here Namibian. Well, there it is, default vendor currency. And any other needed features that you want to implement, and as well as the tax that must be appended to this transaction. Okay, that is the payment method information for a standard payment of what we call bank transfer. You could change the name, of course. The real issue is in the settings here. Okay, you would then make your changes, save and close. And so we've looked at shipment methods and we've looked at payment methods. Next, let us look at manufacturers as well as categories of these manufacturers, and also let's look at the specific let's first look at the categories for the manufacturers.